John and Adam had grown up hearing the stories of the forest that bordered their village. Their parents often warned them, and the elders of the village spoke in hushed tones about the things that lived beneath its twisted branches. They called it haunted. Some claimed they had heard voices. Others said they had seen strange figures, and a few whispered about people who went in and never came back. For years, the boys laughed off the tales, but curiosity is a powerful thing. And one cloudy afternoon, with the sky heavy and gray, John turned to Adam and said, "Let's see for ourselves." The path into the forest was narrow and uneven, but what struck them first was the silence. No birds, no rustle of animals, no sound except the crunch of their own shoes. It was as though the forest was holding its breath, watching. At first, Adam joked, trying to shake off the unease. But as they walked deeper, he began to notice the way the trees seemed to lean closer together, their branches arching like bony arms above them. John pointed out strange carvings in the bark, symbols scratched in patterns that made no sense, but looked deliberate, almost ritualistic. Then came the whispers, faint at first, like wind slipping between the trees. But as they stopped and listened, the boys froze. The whispers were calling their names. John, Adam. The voices dragged the syllables, low and hollow. Adam tried to laugh, but his voice cracked, and John's face had gone pale. They pressed on, hoping to find some logical explanation, though neither could say why their feet moved instead of turning back. A sudden movement caught John's eye. A figure, dark and thin, flickered between two trees. They both spun their flashlights toward it, but the beam landed on nothing but empty trunks. Still, the sense of being followed grew stronger, shadows shifting unnaturally, stretching longer than they should, even when the boys stood still. Deeper in, they found something no villager had ever mentioned, a small hut, half-rotted and crooked, hidden among the trees. Its door hung open as if inviting them inside. Against his better judgment, John stepped through the threshold. The air inside was suffocating, filled with the scent of damp wood and something sour, like rotting leaves. Adam followed reluctantly. On the walls hung photographs, their edges curled and stained with time. At first, they were only of strangers, faces they didn't recognize, villagers long dead. But as they looked closer, their stomachs dropped. They saw their parents as children, standing near this very hut. And then one photograph stopped them cold. An image of themselves, John and Adam, standing in the forest, dressed exactly as they were now. The whispers surged, louder and clearer. "You should not be here." The door slammed shut behind them. The boys rushed to pull it open, but it wouldn't budge. The floor trembled. The walls seemed to stretch, bending unnaturally, as if the hut itself was alive and trying to trap them. From the darkest corner, a figure emerged. Tall, faceless, its body blacker than shadow, as though it had been carved out of the night itself. It reached out, its long fingers trembling in the air, inching toward them. John screamed. Adam grabbed his arm. They shoved at the door until, with a violent crack, it flew open. They stumbled back into the forest, but the trees no longer looked the same. Paths twisted in directions that made no sense. Behind them, the whispers rose again, and footsteps followed. No matter how fast they ran, the forest stretched on endlessly. And then, silence. Days later, villagers searching for the boys found nothing inside the forest. Only their backpacks lay abandoned at the entrance, as though they had dropped them before stepping inside. No trace of John and Adam was ever found. The villagers shook their heads, some muttering prayers, others warning the young never to make the same mistake. To this day, the forest stands, quiet and brooding, its shadows waiting. And if you step close enough on a still night, you might hear faint voices calling your name, whispering, as though the forest remembers you before you ever enter.